Chapter 1: The Mysterious Arrival. In the heart of Paris, where the Seine River flowed languidly and the streets bustled with life, there resided a young man named Edmond Dantès. He was of fair countenance, with tousled locks of blonde hair that shimmered like spun gold under the warm rays of the sun. Edmond was a sailor by trade, his life tethered to the ebb and flow of the ocean's currents. One crisp morning, as the city awakened to the symphony of chirping birds and bustling activity, a peculiar letter arrived at the port where Edmond worked. It was addressed to him, bearing the seal of the prestigious Monte Cristo estate. Intrigued by the unexpected missive, Edmond eagerly tore open the envelope to reveal its contents. The letter, written in elegant script upon parchment as smooth as silk, extended a gracious invitation from the esteemed Count of Monte Cristo. It requested Edmond's presence at the grandiose estate nestled amidst the verdant hills of the French countryside. The purpose of the invitation remained shrouded in mystery, igniting a spark of curiosity within Edmond's adventurous soul. As the sun climbed higher in the azure sky, casting a golden hue over the cobblestone streets of Paris, Edmond made his decision. With his heart pounding with anticipation, he bid farewell to his fellow sailors and set off towards the horizon, guided by the promise of adventure that awaited him at the Monte Cristo estate. The journey to Monte Cristo was nothing short of breathtaking. Along the winding roads that snaked through emerald valleys and past quaint villages adorned with colorful blooms, Edmond marveled at the beauty of the French countryside. The air was fragrant with the scent of wildflowers, and the gentle breeze whispered secrets of distant lands. As evening descended like a velvet curtain upon the landscape, Edmond finally arrived at the gates of the Monte Cristo estate. The grandeur of the mansion took his breath away, its ivy-clad walls bathed in the soft glow of twilight. The estate exuded an aura of mystique, as if it held within its walls secrets known only to the stars. With a sense of trepidation mingled with excitement, Edmond approached the imposing double doors and announced his arrival. The doors creaked open, revealing the opulent interior of the mansion bathed in the warm glow of candlelight. Standing before him was the Count of Monte Cristo, a figure of elegance and grace, with his piercing blue eyes and a mane of blonde hair that cascaded like a waterfall of sunlight. "Welcome, Monsieur Dantès," greeted the Count, his voice smooth as velvet. "I have been expecting you." Edmond's heart fluttered with a mixture of awe and uncertainty as he stepped across the threshold into the realm of the enigmatic Count. Little did he know that his life was about to be irrevocably changed by the events that would unfold within the walls of Monte Cristo, setting him on a path of adventure, intrigue, and redemption. Chapter 2: The Enigmatic Count. Within the confines of the Monte Cristo estate, Edmond Dantès found himself immersed in a world of opulence and intrigue. As he stepped further into the grand foyer, his eyes drank in the lavish decor that adorned every corner of the mansion. Marble statues stood sentinel, their stoic faces gazing upon the visitors with an air of silent wisdom. Crystal chandeliers hung from the ceiling, casting a shimmering cascade of light upon the polished marble floors. At the center of it all stood the enigmatic Count of Monte Cristo, a figure of aristocratic bearing and magnetic charm. His presence commanded attention, his piercing blue eyes seeming to pierce through the veils of time and space. His mane of blonde hair flowed like strands of spun gold, framing his chiseled features with an ethereal glow. "Welcome to my humble abode, Monsieur Dantès," spoke the Count, his voice rich with warmth and hospitality. "I trust your journey was pleasant?" Edmond nodded in response, feeling a mixture of awe and curiosity at the sight of the illustrious Count. There was an air of mystery surrounding him, an aura of intrigue that seemed to beckon Edmond closer, like a moth drawn to a flame. As the evening wore on, Edmond found himself engaged in conversation with the Count, their words flowing like the currents of a meandering river. The Count spoke of his travels to far-off lands, of exotic cultures and ancient mysteries that lay hidden beneath the sands of time. With each tale he wove, Edmond felt himself drawn deeper into the web of the Count's charisma, his thirst for adventure kindled anew. Yet, beneath the veneer of sophistication and refinement, there lurked a shadowy presence within the Count's gaze, a hint of sadness that betrayed the depths of his soul. It was as if he carried the weight of the world upon his shoulders, burdened by secrets too heavy to bear. As the night wore on, Edmond retired to his chambers, his mind abuzz with thoughts of the enigmatic Count and the mysteries that surrounded him. Little did he know that his encounter with the Count was but the beginning of a journey that would lead him down paths of danger and deceit, towards a destiny that was intertwined with the fate of Monte Cristo itself. Chapter 3: A Fateful Betrayal. In the tranquil corridors of the Monte Cristo estate, where whispers of intrigue lingered like ghosts in the shadows, Edmond Dantès found himself ensnared in a web of treachery and deceit. The golden glow of dawn filtered through the windows, casting long shadows upon the marble floors as Edmond awoke to a day that would alter the course of his life forever. As he made his way through the opulent halls of the mansion, Edmond's thoughts were consumed by the enigmatic Count and the mysteries that shrouded him like a cloak of darkness. Little did he know that beneath the veneer of aristocratic charm, jealousy brewed in the hearts of his closest companions, casting a shadow over the tranquility of Monte Cristo. It was during breakfast in the grand dining hall that the first whispers of betrayal reached Edmond's ears. Hushed conversations echoed off the gilded walls as servants exchanged furtive glances, their eyes filled with a mixture of pity and apprehension. Edmond sensed that something was amiss, a tension that hung heavy in the air like a storm cloud on the horizon. As the meal progressed, the Count's demeanor remained unchanged, his elegant facade betraying no hint of the turmoil that lurked beneath the surface. But Edmond's keen intuition told him otherwise, a sense of unease gnawing at the edges of his consciousness like a hungry beast. It was not until later that day, when Edmond received an unexpected visitor in the form of a letter, that the full extent of the betrayal became clear. The letter, penned in a hand he recognized all too well, bore tidings of doom and despair. It spoke of false accusations and nefarious schemes, of betrayal most foul perpetrated by those he had once considered friends. As the truth dawned upon him with the force of a tidal wave, Edmond felt the ground beneath his feet crumble, leaving him adrift in a sea of uncertainty and despair. Betrayed by those he trusted most, he found himself cast into the depths of despair, his dreams shattered like shards of glass upon the cold marble floor. Yet, amidst the chaos and turmoil, a flicker of defiance ignited within Edmond's soul, a determination to rise above the ashes of his shattered past and seek justice for the wrongs that had been done to him. With each passing moment, his resolve hardened like steel, forging a path towards redemption and retribution. And so, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the shadows lengthened across the halls of Monte Cristo, Edmond vowed to uncover the truth behind the fateful betrayal that had robbed him of his innocence and set him on a path of vengeance that would shake the very foundations of Parisian society. Little did he know that his journey had only just begun, and that the road ahead would be fraught with peril and deception beyond imagining. Chapter 4: The Depths of Despair. As the sun dipped below the horizon and the shadows crept like spectres through the halls of the Monte Cristo estate, Edmond Dantès found himself plunged into the depths of despair. Betrayed by those he once called friends, falsely accused of a crime he did not commit, he stood alone amidst the wreckage of his shattered dreams, his heart heavy with grief and disbelief. The weight of his unjust imprisonment bore down upon him like chains of lead, binding him to a fate he could not escape. Confined within the cold stone walls of the infamous Château d'If, Edmond felt the tendrils of despair wrap around his soul like icy fingers, suffocating him with their relentless grip. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, as Edmond languished in the darkness of his cell, his spirit broken and his hopes dashed upon the rocks of despair. Time lost all meaning within the confines of his prison, each day blending into the next in a monotonous cycle of suffering and solitude. Yet, amidst the darkness, a glimmer of light pierced through the gloom, a beacon of hope that flickered like a distant star in the night sky. It was the memory of the Count of Monte Cristo, the enigmatic figure whose kindness had illuminated Edmond's darkest hours like a ray of sunshine breaking through the clouds. With each passing day, Edmond clung to the memories of his time at Monte Cristo, drawing strength from the kindness and compassion he had experienced within its hallowed halls. It was the thought of the Count's unwavering belief in his innocence that sustained him through the long, lonely nights, filling his heart with a flicker of hope amidst the despair that threatened to consume him. And so, as the days turned into months and the months turned into years, Edmond endured the torment of his imprisonment with a steely resolve born of desperation and defiance. He knew that one day, he would emerge from the darkness like a phoenix rising from the ashes, ready to seek justice for the wrongs that had been done to him and reclaim the life that had been stolen away. Little did he know that his time of reckoning was drawing near, and that the journey that lay ahead would test his courage and resilience in ways he could scarcely imagine. But for now, as he languished in the depths of despair, Edmond clung to the faint glimmer of hope that burned within his heart, a beacon of light amidst the darkness that surrounded him. Chapter 5: The Transformation Begins. Within the walls of the forbidding Château d'If, where the damp air hung heavy with the scent of salt and despair, Edmond Dantès underwent a metamorphosis that would shape the course of his destiny. Locked away from the world, his spirit bruised but unbroken, Edmond embarked on a journey of self-discovery and transformation that would test the limits of his endurance and resilience. As the years dragged on, Edmond's once youthful countenance hardened like stone, his eyes taking on a steely glint that spoke of the trials he had endured and the depths of his resolve. With each passing day, he honed his mind and body with the discipline of a warrior, channeling his pain and frustration into a singular purpose: vengeance. It was within the confines of his prison cell that Edmond devised a plan so audacious, so daring, that it bordered on madness. Drawing upon the knowledge and wisdom he had gleaned from the tales of adventure and intrigue shared by the Count of Monte Cristo, Edmond crafted a scheme that would see him escape the clutches of his captors and emerge from the darkness like a phoenix rising from the ashes. With meticulous precision, Edmond plotted his escape, turning the tools of his confinement into instruments of liberation. Piece by piece, he assembled a makeshift arsenal, fashioning ropes from discarded scraps of cloth and fashioning crude tools from whatever materials he could scrounge from the depths of his cell. Yet, even as he prepared to break free from his prison, Edmond knew that his transformation ran deeper than mere physical escape. It was a transformation of the soul, a shedding of the innocence he had once possessed and the embrace of a darker, more ruthless persona that would stop at nothing to achieve its goals. And so, as the fateful night of his escape drew near, Edmond steeled himself for the trials that lay ahead, knowing that his journey was only just beginning. With each passing moment, he felt the weight of his past fall away like shackles from his wrists, replaced by a newfound sense of purpose and determination that burned within him like a flame in the darkness. little did he know that his transformation would not only reshape his own destiny, but the fates of those around him as well. For the man who would emerge from the depths of despair as the Count of Monte Cristo was no longer the innocent youth who had been wronged by betrayal, but a force to be reckoned with, whose thirst for vengeance would shake the very foundations of Parisian society. And so, as he took his first tentative steps towards freedom, Edmond Dantès knew that his journey was far from over, and that the true test of his transformation had only just begun. Chapter 6: The Mask of Monte Cristo. As the moon cast its silvery glow upon the tranquil waters surrounding the Château d'If, Edmond Dantès emerged from the depths of his prison, reborn as the enigmatic figure known to the world as the Count of Monte Cristo. With his blonde locks flowing like strands of spun gold in the moonlight, he donned the mask of his newfound identity, a persona as mysterious and beguiling as the shadows that danced upon the walls of his cell. With each passing day, the Count's legend grew, his name whispered in hushed tones amongst the elite circles of Parisian society. Clad in garments of exquisite tailoring and adorned with jewels that sparkled like stars in the night sky, he moved through the salons and ballrooms of the city with the grace and poise of a nobleman born to privilege. Yet, beneath the veneer of aristocratic charm, lurked a darkness that set him apart from his peers. It was a darkness born of betrayal and injustice, a fire that burned within his soul with an intensity that could not be extinguished. Behind the mask of the Count of Monte Cristo lay the remnants of Edmond Dantès, the sailor wronged by those he once called friends, transformed into a force to be reckoned with, whose thirst for vengeance knew no bounds. With each carefully orchestrated move, the Count manipulated the intricacies of Parisian society like a master puppeteer, pulling the strings of power and influence with a precision that bordered on the supernatural. Through cunning and guile, he exacted his revenge upon those who had wronged him, orchestrating their downfall with a ruthlessness that sent shockwaves through the highest echelons of society. Yet, amidst the chaos and intrigue that surrounded him, the Count remained a figure of mystery and intrigue, his true motives shrouded in secrecy. To some, he was a savior, a beacon of hope for those who had been wronged by the injustices of the world. To others, he was a spectre of doom, a harbinger of vengeance whose wrath knew no mercy. But amidst the whispers and rumors that swirled like mist through the streets of Paris, one thing remained clear: the Count of Monte Cristo was a force to be reckoned with, whose influence extended far beyond the confines of his opulent estate. Behind the mask of nobility and sophistication lay a man driven by a singular purpose, a man whose transformation from sailor to aristocrat was but the beginning of a journey that would shake the very foundations of the world in which he lived. And so, as he moved through the shadows of Parisian society, the Count of Monte Cristo remained ever vigilant, his blonde locks gleaming in the moonlight as he plotted his next move in the deadly game of intrigue and deception that had become his life. Chapter 7: A Game of Intrigue. In the labyrinthine corridors of Parisian society, where whispers of scandal and secrets danced upon the lips of the elite, the Count of Monte Cristo wielded influence like a masterful conductor orchestrating a symphony of intrigue. With his blonde locks cascading like a golden waterfall and his piercing blue eyes ablaze with cunning, he moved through the salons and ballrooms with the grace and poise of a nobleman born to power. At the heart of his machinations lay a game of cat and mouse, a delicate dance of deception and manipulation that kept the city's aristocracy enraptured and ensnared in his web. Through carefully planted rumors and calculated alliances, the Count navigated the treacherous waters of Parisian high society, his every move designed to further his own agenda while sowing discord amongst his enemies. But beneath the veneer of sophistication and charm, lurked a darkness that set the Count apart from his peers. It was a darkness born of betrayal and injustice, a fire that burned within his soul with an intensity that could not be extinguished. Behind the mask of nobility lay a man driven by a singular purpose, vengeance. And so, as the Count moved through the salons and ballrooms, he played his game with a skill that bordered on the uncanny. With each carefully orchestrated move, he drew closer to his enemies, his blonde locks gleaming in the candlelight as he plotted their downfall with a ruthlessness that sent shivers down the spines of those who dared to cross him. But amidst the shadows of deception and betrayal, there were those who saw through the facade of the Count's aristocratic charm, who recognized the darkness that lurked behind his piercing blue eyes. They knew that beneath the mask of nobility lay a man driven by a thirst for revenge, a man whose transformation from sailor to aristocrat was but the beginning of a journey that would shake the very foundations of the world in which he lived. As the game of intrigue unfolded, alliances were forged and broken, secrets were unearthed, and the balance of power shifted like sand in the wind. And through it all, the Count of Monte Cristo remained ever vigilant, his blonde locks shining like a beacon in the darkness as he moved ever closer to his ultimate goal, redemption, or perhaps, damnation. For in the game of intrigue, where the stakes were high and the consequences dire, there could be no winners, only survivors. And as the Count of Monte Cristo prepared to make his next move, he knew that the game was far from over, and that the true test of his cunning and resolve had only just begun. Chapter 8: Redemption and Forgiveness. As the intricate web of intrigue spun by the Count of Monte Cristo reached its zenith, a glimmer of redemption and forgiveness shimmered amidst the shadows of Parisian society. Within the heart of the enigmatic Count, buried beneath layers of vengeance and deceit, lay the seeds of compassion and humanity, waiting to blossom amidst the darkness that threatened to consume him. It was amidst the opulent splendor of the Monte Cristo estate that the Count found himself confronted with the consequences of his actions, the weight of his vendetta bearing down upon him like a burden too heavy to bear. As he gazed upon the faces of those whose lives he had shattered in his quest for retribution, a spark of remorse ignited within his soul, a flicker of light amidst the darkness that threatened to consume him. It was then that the Count realized that true redemption lay not in vengeance, but in forgiveness. And so, with a heavy heart and a newfound sense of purpose, he set out on a journey of atonement, seeking to right the wrongs of his past and make amends for the sins he had committed. Through acts of kindness and compassion, the Count sought to mend the broken hearts and shattered dreams of those he had wronged, offering them a chance at redemption and forgiveness that he himself so desperately craved. With each selfless gesture, he hoped to reclaim a piece of his own humanity, to wash away the stains of guilt and remorse that tarnished his soul like shadows upon the sunlit sky. But redemption did not come easily, nor did forgiveness come swiftly. It was a journey fraught with obstacles and challenges, a path beset by doubts and fears that threatened to derail the Count's newfound resolve. Yet, with unwavering determination and unwavering faith, he pressed on, guided by the flickering light of hope that burned within his heart like a beacon in the night. And as the days turned into weeks and the weeks turned into months, the Count found solace in the knowledge that true redemption lay not in the forgiveness of others, but in the forgiveness of oneself. It was a lesson learned amidst the trials and tribulations of his journey, a truth that resonated deep within his soul like a melody that echoed through the corridors of time. And so, as he stood upon the precipice of his destiny, the Count of Monte Cristo embraced the gift of redemption and forgiveness with open arms, knowing that his journey was far from over, but that with each step he took, he moved closer towards the light that had eluded him for so long. For in the end, it was not the battles won or the enemies vanquished that defined the Count's legacy, but the compassion and forgiveness he showed towards those who had wronged him, and the redemption he found within himself amidst the darkness that threatened to consume him. And as he embarked on a new chapter of his life, the Count of Monte Cristo knew that he had finally found the peace and redemption he had been searching for all along. Chapter 9: Love Rediscovered. Amidst the tumultuous currents of the Count of Monte Cristo's journey towards redemption and forgiveness, there emerged a beacon of light that illuminated the darkness of his troubled soul, the rediscovery of love. It was a love that had lain dormant within the depths of his heart, buried beneath layers of sorrow and regret, waiting to be awakened by the gentle touch of fate. As the Count traversed the winding paths of his destiny, he found himself drawn inexorably towards a familiar figure from his past, a figure whose presence stirred memories long forgotten and emotions long suppressed. It was Mercedes, the beautiful maiden whose love had once been the guiding light of his life, before betrayal tore them apart and sent them hurtling down separate paths. But amidst the chaos and turmoil that surrounded them, the flame of their love refused to be extinguished, burning bright and true amidst the darkness that threatened to consume them. With each passing moment, the Count found himself drawn closer to Mercedes, his heart yearning for the warmth of her embrace and the solace of her love. And so, amidst the opulent splendor of the Monte Cristo estate, the Count and Mercedes found themselves reunited once more, their hearts entwined like vines in a lover's embrace. It was a moment of pure, unadulterated joy, a testament to the enduring power of love to overcome even the greatest of obstacles. But their journey towards reconciliation was not without its challenges, for the wounds of the past ran deep, leaving scars that refused to heal. Yet, through patience and understanding, the Count and Mercedes found solace in each other's arms, their love serving as a balm to soothe the pain of their shared past. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks turned into months, the bond between the Count and Mercedes grew stronger, their love blossoming like a flower in the springtime. With each passing day, they found themselves drawn closer together, their hearts beating as one amidst the chaos and uncertainty of the world around them. And as they stood together, hand in hand, beneath the starlit sky, the Count and Mercedes knew that their love was a force to be reckoned with, a beacon of hope amidst the darkness that threatened to engulf them. For in each other's arms, they had found the strength to face whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing that as long as they had each other, they could overcome any obstacle that stood in their way. And so, as they embarked on a new chapter of their lives together, the Count and Mercedes embraced the gift of love rediscovered, knowing that no matter what trials and tribulations lay ahead, their love would endure, steadfast and true, for all eternity. Chapter 10: The Legacy of Monte Cristo. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting its golden glow upon the tranquil waters that surrounded the Monte Cristo estate, the Count stood atop the precipice of his destiny, his heart heavy with the weight of the journey he had undertaken. Behind him lay the trials and tribulations of a life lived in pursuit of vengeance and redemption, while ahead lay the promise of a new beginning, forged from the ashes of the past. With each passing moment, the Count felt the weight of his legacy pressing upon him, a burden born of the choices he had made and the deeds he had committed. But amidst the shadows of his troubled past, there shone a glimmer of hope, a beacon of light that guided him towards a future filled with promise and possibility. For the legacy of Monte Cristo was not one of darkness and despair, but of resilience and redemption. It was a legacy forged in the fires of adversity, tempered by the trials of life, and imbued with the strength and courage to rise above the challenges that lay in its path. As the Count surveyed the sprawling estate that bore his name, he knew that his legacy would endure long after he had passed from this world. It was a legacy built upon the foundations of compassion and forgiveness, of love and redemption, and of the unwavering belief in the power of the human spirit to overcome even the greatest of obstacles. But the true measure of the Count's legacy lay not in the grandeur of his estate or the wealth he had amassed, but in the lives he had touched and the hearts he had healed along the way. For in the end, it was not the battles won or the enemies vanquished that defined him, but the compassion and forgiveness he showed towards those who had wronged him, and the love he shared with those who had stood by his side through thick and thin. And so, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the stars twinkled like diamonds in the night sky, the Count of Monte Cristo embraced the legacy he had forged with open arms, knowing that his journey was far from over, but that with each step he took, he moved closer towards the light that had eluded him for so long. For in the end, the legacy of Monte Cristo was not one of darkness and despair, but of hope and redemption, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit to overcome even the greatest of challenges and emerge triumphant in the face of adversity. And as the Count looked towards the horizon, his heart filled with hope for the future, knowing that his legacy would live on in the hearts and minds of those who had been touched by his extraordinary journey.